Guys, I'm back. I got that first field done, and now I'm on the second 5-acre field. And what we're doing today is we got 6 gravity boxes we're just going to fill up and call it a day. And I filled 3 and a part on the first 5 acres, so whenever I get the next 2 and that other part of one filled in this 5 acres, we're just going to quit. But I'm battling more of the same here, as you can see, down corn. We thought this field wasn't as bad, but it looks like it's pretty close. Anyhow, a couple of things I didn't mention on the first video, or earlier. It was 18 this morning here, so we waited till about noon to get started. Wasn't no sense in hurrying out here in super cold conditions and pushing everything. So by noon it was probably 30 degrees or better, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then this morning I have 5 or 6 acres left to shell myself, and I went over to that field this morning and pulled some ears to sample and took it to the elevator and had them test it. I don't have a tester, and it was 23.2. That's 104 day corn that was planted on the 1st of June, so needless to say, I'm not in any hurry to get over there and work on that, so I'll probably let that sit a couple weeks here maybe. I don't want to let it sit too long, or it's going to be into who knows what the weather does. Right now the forecast for next week is pretty good. There's a chance of rain a couple days, but temperatures in the 50s and upper 40s most of the week, so that's kind of part of the reason why we're not pushing hard today. We'll maybe wait till the middle of the week or later in the week and let it dry all it can. It's probably not going to dry too much now, but any little bit's better than nothing. But this corn I'm in now is 101 day, planted like the 17th of May, and it should be a little drier. Like I say, the couple of fields we took off first here were in the 20 range. This stuff should be a little drier. He hand picked some of this last week and had it tested, and it was like 16 something, so the combine will add at least a point to whatever you're shelling or whatever it's saying. So, but even if it was 18, would be better than in the 20s. So I'm working on the headland here on this south end of the field. I had a little bit of trouble in the other field, but nothing too major. There was a couple spots where I had to, on that down corn. Well, mainly it was where, when I planted, what I like to do is I'll start at one end or on one side of the field, and I'll work back and forth. And then when I'm getting close to the other side, I'll go start on the other side and make at least 2 swipes, make one round, and then fill in between. And where I had the trouble is where I overlapped, where those rows overlapped on that one pass. That was where I had the trouble. It's hard to, you got to pick one side or the other, because it's like, it comes down to 15-inch rows for a few rows, and that stuff gets all matted together, and it was down, and it was just a bear to pull that through. So that was where I had the most trouble. The down stuff, we're dry enough, these stalks are dry enough where it's feeding through pretty good. Even the stuff that's running the wrong way, I'm trying to, seemed like on that last field, going one way on the one side worked good, and then going the other way on the other side worked good. So I didn't have to go one direction on the whole field. It kind of, for whatever reason, in about the middle of the field, it was laying one way going on part of the field and laying the other going the other way. So it actually worked out to work around the field. I like to go back and forth, but it worked better to just go around the field on that last one. I don't know what this one's going to do or how it's going to work out yet. It's hard to tell, but I mean, all I got to do is fill 2 more wagons. So I really hate to go from one end to the other empty, because these fields are like a quarter mile long probably. They're not many rounds wide, but boy, they're long. So, but you know, if I just take it slower on the where it's kind of going the wrong way, it does feed through because the stuff's brittle enough to break it off and pull it through. Well, what I'll do is I'll go down along this side. I'll go north on this side and see what it does. Going south on the other field from this west end worked better. But say this one's standing a little better, but there are a couple spots where wind blew it down. There's a little bit of deer damage at the far end down there by the trees, but that's understandable. You're gonna have that, especially around here, because we've got a lot of deer. Come on. And then usually if you got a little bit of down and you can bust through it and get to some standing corn, it'll help push it through. Yeah, we're getting up there a little bit. I wasn't able to make a round on that other field. I can make about 3/4 of a round. Doggone it. As I say that, this here is laying kind of weird. Now I'll have to push that in. What I do is I shut her down. I shut the head down so I don't have accidents. And what happens is this corn gets caught right here on these deflectors that are supposed to bring it up. And it bridges it. And then it just stops everything from feeding through. I don't know if I'll make it down to the wagons or not. I kind of hope I don't, which means I'll be making good or better. But usually on this down corn, even if it's going the wrong way, if I kind of fluff the head like I'm doing there, it'll help pick that up. And then them gathering chains will pull that stuff in. I don't know, for whatever, I'm probably going to have to go the other way on this. Come on now, go through there. There it goes. And it's just got to take your time on this stuff. It's nice when the corn's standing and you can scoot right along, but it's been one of those years where the conditions just weren't what we'd like to see. If farming was easy, everyone would do it. Come on now. This is just getting to be. If I can get that little bunch to go through, I'll be all right here, and I'll get to that next spot that's laying down, and I'll probably stop. seems like it might go, well, we'll try it here once. I can really running the head down too. Yeah, this is just, I might have to hit this the other way. I got enough in the bin, I'll just run down there and unload. Push that in first. This is what takes so long. Every time I gotta stop, it just takes time, but these aren't bad ears. They're a little small. They're a little small this year, but there's an ear on every stalk at least this year, so there's something there. I'll feed that through. Okay. Go down here and unload. Get the auger out. Turn the separator off. Sometimes I leave the separator run, but something like this, there's no point in that thing running the whole time. We'll just turn it off. What I got in there probably won't quite fill this second wagon. You can see the first one there's heaped. It's not. I don't generally fill the wagon so darn full you can't get another kernel on. It'll level out when he bounces that down the field lane and puts it away. It'll level out and it'll be plenty good. There ain't no point in chucking them full and having problems. There was somebody went through town, the town I live in, a couple days ago, and they had I think it was a Parker wagon, pretty good sized wagon. I heard it wasn't chuck full, but it had soybeans on it and a spindle broke right in the square of town, and it upset. Man, there was soybeans everywhere. And the wagon's still sitting in town in a parking lot, and I drove through there this morning when I was sampling that corn, and I had my one son with me, and we went in there and see what was going on. I heard a tire fell off. Well, yeah, a tire fell off, the whole spindle broke. It just snapped clean off, and it was a wagon with brakes and stuff to boot. I'm sure it's fixable, but whether or not whoever it was will fix it, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how long it sits there, because when you have oopses like that, I wouldn't want it sitting there for too long, especially in a small town like I live in. Everybody knows about it. Kind of like Jeff Raymond, the combine he passed on his fertilizer video. I wouldn't have that thing sitting out there like that. I'd drag that thing any way I could. Well, I'm about gonna fill that wagon. I ain't gonna get much more on it. It's just about empty. I might be able to get 15 or 20 more bushel on there. I had my windows clean. I think the front's fairly clean yet, but the side's getting a little rough. Alright guys, I got that wagon full, so I'll let you go. We'll see you on the next one.